What's up, everybody? It's Carpo. It's about 5:30 a.m. here, and I just woke up about a half an hour ago, and I had an interesting morning. But I was thinking about how we go through these nightly cycles where I have strange dreams myself, very strange. I don't often remember them anymore unless I try, but it's like we go through this nightly reality, and then we wake up into this living daily reality. And sometimes it's hard to go from that dream state into this reality. Like when you first wake up in the morning, if you've had very vivid dreams, you might be confused when you get up. You don't know why. If you start to think about it and you close your eyes long enough, you'll remember your dreams and be like, oh yeah, I was in this building and all this stuff was going on. And gradually over an hour or so you adjust and you're in the day. And this is a metaphor for how I see moving away from society's useless news to moving into things that you can actually do something with or use in your life. It's the same way as breaking any addiction. At first you're going to be confused until you find your new niche. And the reason why I'm thinking about this morning is I got up and I just changed. I had problems with my browser, my internet browser, so I changed over to Firefox, and it made Yahoo my homepage. So I went on, clicked home, and it took me to Yahoo, which I don't like, but I haven't changed it yet. So the headline was the Kim Kardashian thing last week. I made a video about it, joking about her and Kanye. Total mindless news. And so this morning I clicked on it again, and this time it was about Kim and what's his name's wedding, what's it called, honeymoon. And right next to it, it basically says, Kim and Kanye's honeymoon, Kate Middleton exposes bare butt. And now I'll tell you something. My first thought was this. Who's Kate Middleton? I know a lot of people laugh at that, but I didn't know who she was. I don't care who she is. And I guess she's what, the princess or something? She's the married to the prince. I really don't follow that kind of shit, and I don't care. I find it completely useless information. Knowing leaders and which groups are in charge of his country is different than knowing who the prince and princess are and whether or not a helicopter blew her dress up while she was getting on it. Nor do I care how much money they tried to sell the pictures to, or which paper they printed it in, or the fact that the UK media turned down the picture. All this information in there, completely useless. A whole article about it. And it's irritating. It doesn't irritate me, like make me angry, but what's the word I'm looking for? It's saddening. It's I'm very disappointed, I guess, in society that over this internet age, people haven't wisened themselves up to the useless news like that. But on the same token, I can't blame the media for this. This is people choosing this type of, quote, information. And magazines like People and Us Weekly and stuff like that, these are banes to humanity. These are just completely shallow, useless magazines, And I would have hoped the internet age would have brought a little bit of reality to people. Say, okay, we need to figure out what's going on in the world, not what's going on with somebody's butt or who's getting married, but people would choose to ignore the important issues. And that's their choice, but it makes it harder for the rest of us who want to maybe open up a dialogue of conversation with a group of people about what's going on in the world, and they don't know what's going on in the world because they're too busy worrying about which rock band got in trouble, or which musician got in trouble for smoking pot, or just the nonsense that we follow. And it's like we're living vicariously through these people, and it's just, I don't know, it's just wrong. And on the same token, what these magazines and these articles do is They give people a lower self-esteem about themselves, about what they can do. When I was on that article, I clicked on it was a link to women talking about how it was about women's magazines, and this is what kind of got me to do this video. It was this article written by this woman. It was on something called like something mom. I can't remember. Whatever. It was an interesting little article about how people make these magazines, and how she opened up a women's magazine, and she noticed somebody pointed it out. She said, "Oh, I don't open that. It just makes me feel bad." And she started looking, and every single chapter in this magazine was, you know, how to make your husband happy, or how to clean your house better, or how to better organize. And she was saying, I don't want to label my kids paper bins and pencil holders like Martha Stewart, you know. And the lady was really funny. She's saying, you know, that it's just nonsense, you know, that we think we have to fit these standards that the magazine set for us. Now I brought that up because I made a video a couple weeks ago about that group, the men going their own way group, and I was a little bit harsh, and I apologize to anyone who took offense on that, because I realized that there are some guys out there who have just had it with women trying to mold them into some certain type of guy. But on the other side of the coin, these, you know, after reading this article, I saw how these magazines have been trying to change women, of course, you know, for decades, centuries, into these subservient, you know, here's how to get stuff done, here's how to organize, as if the women should have to do everything. And that's ludicrous too. But the article was pretty funny because it was saying that, you know, how men's magazines are always showing the coolest new gadgets, or I don't know, interesting things about how to boost your self-esteem, you know. But of course, this is just a shallow version of magazines. I mean, there's, you know, what the main point here is that they're catering to what people want to hear, and that's where it becomes difficult, because we have magazines and articles and websites that some people say this is complete nonsense. Nobody wants to read this, nobody wants to hear this, but people are buying it, people are listening to it, people are reading it, people are doing it, and people are fitting into these stereotypes that magazines set for us. You know, if you can't look back at the old, like, cigarette ads from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even now, obviously, there's still cigarette ads and alcohol ads showing a guy sitting by a pool, smoking a cool, drinking his stool. Just like all these different things going on with a guy that's totally happy because he's drunk, because he's got his cigarettes, whatever. The way that we've labeled our shortcomings as being okay because it's cool. And that's just what we do. That's just what we do. It's just the sad part is that people like you and I have to convince our neighbors, family, and friends that this stuff is nonsense, without coming across sounding like an arrogant asshole, or one of those guys, or a conspiracy theorist. It's like the situation we face as people who want to know the truth is daunting. It's almost easier to fall into that category of mindless idiots. And then when I say that, I start to feel guilty, because I feel like, you know, what right is it of mine to tell other people that they're mindless idiots? But years and years, you know, there was a time when I was younger where I would say that a lot, like, everybody's a douche, everybody's a douche, I wish they'd wake up, wake up. And then I got older, I became a little more humble, started to realize that, hey, I need to wake up on a lot of things too. It's not all about knowledge. And then, you know, the older I get, the less I realize, the less I know. But eventually you come full circle back to that point where people are idiots again, because you've given ample opportunity to everyone around you to take interest in what's going on in the world, and they just push it away. Everybody I know who's into this kind of, into information, knowledge, and bettering humanity has like looked into it, taken an idea to the workplace or to the family, and as soon as they open their mouth about it, people just shake their heads and talk about something else. And the workplace conversation these days is seldom about any real issues. If it is, let's say the Obamacare thing, people would go to work and one person would say, oh, fuck Obama, he's screwing up everything with Obamacare. And the other person would say, no, we need health care. And that's about as far as the conversation would go. Because both parties had to be privy to all the information in order to have an adequate debate. And so, yeah, with political issues and stuff, sure, we do talk about them in the workplace. But generally it comes down to what was on American Idol last night, or which movie's coming out, or whatever people talk about. Honestly, I'm at a loss here thinking of things that people talk about in the workplace, because I would always opt out of those conversations when they were meaningless. And sure, that could seem egotistical, but it's not. It's about seeing the reality we face and not taking the time to buy into the bullshit. I have my own bullshit, my own problems in life, and I have my own shortcomings, and there are a lot more things that I could do to help the world. So I'm not golden here, but I'm just making that point for other people who might be in the same situation, that telling people not to read nonsense, mindless news, just always makes you come across like an ass, like somebody who's too obsessed or sucked into the conspiracy theories or whatever. And so I guess each person has to decide to which threshold they're willing to tolerate, the nonsense. But that question I asked myself, who the hell is Kate Middleton? And the sad part about that, why I was inspired to do this video, is because when I thought about that, who is Kate Middleton, I realized that if I were to bring that up in a group of people, let's say I were to go off talking about all kinds of like important issues in the world and what's going on with climate change, what's going on with nuclear power and nanotechnology and all this stuff, and then somebody were to bring up Kate Middleton and I said, who's Kate Middleton? They would look at me like I'm an idiot. Be like, you don't know who Kate Middleton is? I'm like, I'll get a question like, where have you been, under a rock? I've been asked that by my mom a few times, because she'll bring up like somebody in the movie world or whatever, and I'm like, who's that? And I get this funny look like, you don't know who that is? As if not knowing a certain character in, whatever you call them, a star, a celebrity, as if not knowing that you don't fit in with the standard. And that's true. She was right. It's true. That's how people view each other. If you don't know who people are, you don't know what's going on, and that's got to change, because none of the people who we talk about are worth a damn. You want to talk about real people, start talking about Mandela and peacekeepers in history, and Gandhi, and Herodotus. Start talking about philosophers, Socrates, Bring up things that matter. But people don't want things that matter. They want fodder for the mind, because it keeps them from thinking too deeply. And then I become one of those guys that's pointing the finger at other people, saying, oh, you should be thinking this. And on we go through the cycles.